Now we have these other things. We have this Bitcoin thing. It's a global thing. Everybody can participate. It's not tied to a particular government. It's weightless. It's unobservable. I want that.
특정 정부에 얽매이지 않고 글로벌하며 누구나 참여할 수 있는 자산인 비트코인을 원한다고 주장하고 있는 영상 속 인물은 비트맥스의 창업자이자 크립토 시장의 노스트라다무스로 불리는 아서헤이즈입니다. 현재 국제정세와 지정학적인 불안 그리고 전통 안전자산인 미국채의 흔들림 속에서 신생 혁신 자산인 비트코인은 그 어느 때보다 새로운 피난처이자 대안으로 떠오르고 있습니다. 빠르게 변화하고 있는 글로벌 경제 상황과 불안한 통화 정책 속에서 새로운 혁신으로 급부상 중인 비트코인의 향후 전망과 방향성에 대한 아서헤이즈의 인사이트에 대해서 함께 자세히 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
We've seen many different market cycles play out. So I think, we're almost two years, 23 months into a bear market here. And we're starting to see Bitcoin show signs of life, right? And there are these catalysts where we had a bunch of headwinds a couple of years, last year when FTX blew up and Luna and all of this stuff, but now looks like we've got an ETF, knock on wood, potentially on the horizon. We've got the halving coming up within like 160 some days or something like that. And you're starting to see Bitcoin move. So I guess the question that I think a lot of folks are wondering is this the beginnings of a new bull market, or how are you viewing this?
So I've obviously gone on record in my last essay, and I think the speech that U.S. President Biden gave about U.S.'s unwavering support for Israel, and now we've seen, the ground offensive has begun in Gaza, and obviously Iran and other countries are, starting to up the rhetoric about what that actually means in terms of their involvement. The steps towards a very hot regional conflict in the Middle East, and hopefully not, but possibly a global conflict, are there. And, one of the main belligerents or backers of the belligerents, the U.S. government has said we stand by our ally. So then now the question is, what does Iran do? What does Russia do? What does China do? Are they going to not stand by their allies? So you can see the parallel to World War I, where everybody has to do what they said they were going to do to their allies, and thus the war expands. At the same time, every government around the world is increasing defense spending because they see these conflicts happening all around the world. And the largest and richest generation, the boomers, are sick and they're dying. And, we have global sick care, which is going to take care of them. And that is something that you can't print. And so we have all of these promises made, whether it's military or to the old, that are coming due all right now. And the politicians are unwilling to say, you know what, we made those promises back in the day. Things have changed. Therefore, what you thought you were going to get, that's going to be different now and much less. Right? We don't have that conversation anywhere in the world. It's, I'm going to be able to make good on the promises made to you, whether that's militarily, whether that's healthcare, whether that's the banking system. And so Bitcoin and gold are starting to say, these guys aren't serious. We're going to have to make them serious. We're not going to own these bonds anymore. Right? So if I'm a large bondholder at the margin, and I'm hearing the leader of America, the largest, of the American empire, say we can afford all these different wars in all these peripheral locations, and we're not going to fight inflation. Powell's on pause. Fuck it. I'm not owning this stuff. I want something that actually is going to preserve value. If this is really, truly a wartime, global wartime economy, then I want gold. Now we have this new thing called Bitcoin. I want that too. And we've seen it. I posted a chart, I think yesterday. It was TLT, which is the long-term U.S. Treasury bond ETF, versus Bitcoin. I had one date starting in, I think, February 24th of 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine. Bitcoin's up something like 50% from that date. Treasuries are, the TLT's down something like 17%. And then from October 7th till the present, Bitcoin's up something like, 24, 25%, whatever it is. Treasuries are down 3%. Now we have these other things. We have this Bitcoin thing. It's a global thing. Everybody can participate. It's not tied to a particular government. It's weightless. It's unobservable. I want that. I want to protect my capital. Let me have some of that. I don't want any of this U.S. Treasury bond nonsense when, U.S. government's going to get themselves into wars all over the world and still make good on the promises to the old people. That's just not sustainable. So we're seeing this narrative starting to shift. We're seeing the correlations start to change. The stock bond correlation has changed. Bonds are no longer this thing that can reduce the overall volatility of a portfolio, which tells you at some point, all these Muppets running these 60-40 portfolios are going to wake up and realize, holy fuck, I own this 40% in bonds. It has not performed. Fucking the US 30-year treasury is down 50% over the last 3 years. Yet these Muppets
Yeah, it's
are still
nuts.
buying this stuff, right? It's absolutely hilarious. But at some point, their clients are going to stop, giving these idiots money and say, well, wait a minute. You said bonds are supposed to be this sort of anti-fragile asset that's going to protect my portfolio. Why you keep buying these things that are just getting crushed again and again and again as the situation has changed? And that is propelling money at the margin now. And it's just starting, right? Bitcoin's only at 35,000, right? It's still, you know, only half its way to the 70,000 peak. Gold's only at 2,000. It still hasn't taken out some of the highs, and maybe it's close to the highs in 2011, but it's not doing amazing, but it's doing better than owning bonds. And so as people start to realize this and finally get it through their heads that it's changed, the relationships have changed. I need something that's in fixed supply. I need something that is not someone else's liability. Then this movement in Bitcoin and gold and Ethereum and all these other assets, it's just going to collect steam because the global bond market is humongous. If the zeitgeist changes that this is not the best place to put my my investors' capital, I need to find something else. It's going to go into my opinion, AI tech stocks and crypto.